gentlemen, gracing the ceremony. Thank you very much, sir. While the police are forming a drill platoon, permit me at this stage, ladies and gentlemen, to inform the House that in the House we have the Consul General of Angola, Madam Elsa Caposo Vicente, and a delegation. Can you please rise, ma'am? We also have the Secretariat from Namibia, Honorable Siama Sakaria. Those are members of the diplomatic corps that we have in the House. I'm going to invite everybody to watch on the screens when the proceedings are continuing outside. Very soon, in a matter of minutes, the Speaker's procession will be formed. We are now currently preparing ourselves to welcome in the House the Judge President of the Northern Cape Division of the High Court, Judge Lazarus Puletlaleti, and his partner. The three arms of government will be in the same house at this august and esteemed house. And after welcoming the Judge President, the Deputy Speaker, Honorable Sharifa Ferris and partner, will be welcomed to go and form part of the Deputy Speaker only, will form part of the Speaker's parade, and then the partner will be ushered to the seat. Speaker's procession. Part of the Speaker's procession will be having the Sergeant at Arms leading, followed by the Speaker, Honorable Deputy Speaker, the Speaker, Honorable Nurin Cluster, Deputy Speaker, Honorable Sharifa Ferris, the Premier, Honorable Dr. Zamani Saul, the Secretary to the Legislature, Mr. Patrick Moopelwa, and if I say Secretary, I mean the Accounting Officer of the Legislature, Ndate Moopelwa, and table staff, Manager, NCOP and Proceedings, Mr. Cyril Haas. And immediately after the procession has been announced, the stage will now be turned into a formal house, and it will be under the stewardship and guidance of the Speaker, assisted by the Sergeant at Arms. Let me remind everybody that guests are not allowed to participate in the proceedings. You just have to observe, unfortunately. It's only for the members here upstage in the House who will form part of the proceedings. You can't heckle, Baba. Earlier on, I've introduced the Provincial Commissioner of the Police, Lieutenant General Otola. She forms part of the drill platoon, together with some members of a team. The JP is on his way, and in the meantime, I invite you to join the procession outside, watching in the screens. We can't have entertainment now. This is a formal program. Colleagues in the holding room, after the JP, then we will be expecting the Deputy Speaker, then the Speaker and Premier's entourage, in that order. We've requested all the guests to be seated, unless those who are using the ablution facilities. We are using ablution facilities that are on my left-hand side there. Ladies and gentlemen, at this point in time, allow me to introduce to the House the presence of the Deputy Minister of International Relations, DERCO, and Tate Elvin Boertes. Can you please rise? Thank you very much, sir. Your presence is acknowledged. We welcome to the House our former Premier, Mayor Sylvia Lucas, to the House. And partner. Yeah, sorry. Sylvia Isaac, thanks for the correction. Apologies for that. En partner. Ik ken je geen meer hartslaan. Ik ken je geen meer hartsverskoning. Verskoning. Sylvia Isaac. En partner. Mr. Isaac is in the house. Thanks for the correction. We are now awaiting the arrival of the Judge President of the Northern Cape Division of the High Court. It seems we will be starting ahead of schedule today. Okay, Vazi JP. Ladies and gentlemen, we've already introduced the presence of the Mayor of Namakwa, Councillor Kritzinger, and partner there in the House. We are now preparing ourselves to welcome the Judge President of the Northern Cape Division of the High Court, Justice Lazarus Pule Tlaleti. In the meantime, the Speaker's procession is about to be formed. We will first welcome the Deputy Speaker, then the Speaker will follow, then thereafter the drill platoon will continue. Thank you. And I still invite you to watch the proceedings on the big screens. honorable members, ladies and gentlemen, guests, let us prepare ourselves to welcome to the House Judge President Lazarus Puletlaleti. We welcome the Judge President of the Northern Cape Division of the High Court, Judge Tlaleti, in the House. A round of applause. Welcome, sir. We are now preparing ourselves to welcome the Deputy Speaker of the Northern Cape Provincial Legislature, Honorable Sharifa Ferris, and a partner. The partner will be ushered into the House, and the Deputy Speaker will form part of the Speaker's procession. Thereafter, the Speaker will follow. At this point in time, ladies and gentlemen, the gates are officially closed. Those who are late will not enter. They are free to enter after the speech, but now the gates are officially closed. We welcome the partner of the Deputy Speaker to the House with a round of applause. Je hoor net met die Namakwalan secretaries that the Deputy Speaker just arrived. She's going to form part of the Speaker's procession. Now we are anticipating the arrival of the Honorable Speaker, May Urine Cluster. Also, her partner will also be ushered to her seat when the Honorable Speaker joins the Speaker's procession or forms the Speaker's procession. The holding room is officially closed. It will be opened after the formal proceedings. Ladies and gentlemen, we welcome Honorable Speaker Urine Cluster, and she is going to lead the Speaker's procession. Ons is diep in die Makwaland vandag. Ons moet probeer Afrikaans leer praat. Nee, nama. Ek het hulle gehoor sing, maar ek het nie een woord gehoor nie. Ek moet leer. We are now seeing the arrival of the Honorable Premier, Dr. Zamani Saul, outside, who is going to observe the drill platoon. And he will be welcomed by the Speaker and Provincial Commissioner Otola. I invite you to watch the proceedings on the big screens, ladies and gentlemen. kan ek vra die gaste wat nie stoele het daar aan die kant nie, kan julle gou omkom en daar gaan sit asseblief. Ek gee julle net 2 minute. Kom julle net so om. I don't want to disturb you, to disturb the proceedings, please. Quickly. Our guests would not have seats because we are about to start now. That's bias to lay aan die kant. Kan jy ons inkom? Joy, can you assist? Mr. Nell, can you assist, and Tim, can you assist in ushering those guests that side? Oh, it's late for them now already. But we'll find a way. After the drill platoon, I'll be handing over to the Sergeant at Arms, who will then lead the Speaker's procession, and then the Speaker will take over. The police band will render the national anthem from inside. The Premier is now observing the drill platoon. We now welcome the Provincial Commissioner of SABC, Commissioner Koliswa Otola. Round of applause. At this stage, the Speaker's procession has been formed, led by the Sergeant at Arms, then the Speaker, Honorable Nurin Cluster, Deputy Speaker, Honorable Sharifa Ferris, Honorable Premier, Dr. Zamani Saul, Secretary to the Legislature and Table Staff. Over to you, Sergeant at Arms.
All rise for the Speaker and Deputy Speaker's procession.
Can we observe a moment of silent prayer or meditation? Thank you very much, honorable members and all our guests. I will allow for the police band to lead us with the national anthem. Thank you very much to the police band. Honorable members, you may take your seats in all cases. A warm welcome to yourself, honorable members, and to all our guests in attendance. This gathering marks the official commencement of the third session of the 7th legislature. I therefore declare the session officially open. I would also want to declare the sitting area for members on the stage will then also be the venue. In this venue will be the chamber, and the rest of the venue will be the gallery. A humble request to all our guests. We understand the purpose of your being here, and we are thankful that you are here. But you can't participate in proceedings. You can't clap hands. So thank you very much. Honorable members, let me take this opportunity to welcome yourself, Honorable Premier, Honorable Dr. Zamani Saul, the leader of the official opposition, Honorable Fritz, leaders of all political parties within the legislature, the leader of government business, Honorable Fass, the Chief Whip, Honorable Shushu, Honorable Dr. Shushu, with all the whippery within the legislature. Let me welcome yourself, honorable members from the Executive Council, and all members of the legislature. We do have a new member with us today, brand new. So, Honorable Claule, at some point I will give you an opportunity to welcome the new member. But also, warm welcome to our members of the National Assembly in attendance, honorable members of the NCOP, all former speakers of the legislature, all former premiers of our province, our esteemed guests from around the world, and we do have some diplomats with us also, the business sector, the media fraternity, our traditional leaders, our religious leaders, honorable members and guests, you are all welcome to our first sitting of the legislature today. Let me also welcome all our stakeholders from various sectors within our province. And most importantly, the people of the Northern Cape, those present here with us, and we don't want to forget those who has been tuned in on our various social media platforms and our local radio stations. A very warm welcome to you all to the third session of the 7th legislative term of this current legislature. It certainly is a great pleasure to have you in our midst, community members from all the 5 districts of our Northern Cape. We extend a special welcome to all diplomats, members of the National Assembly, members of the National Council of Provinces, the business sector, religious sector, government stakeholders and entities, municipal mayors and speakers, all councillors, guests from all political parties represented in the legislature. Honourable members, in line with the strategic objective of the legislature, of which is taking the legislature to the people, and in the interest of the advancement of the non-Cape community, we saw it fit to bring the SOPA to Namakwa once again. And I must thank the Honourable Premier. It's the decision of the Honourable Premier to bring the SOPA to Namakwa. We did it in 2023 when we held the SOPA in Calvinia, and in Uppington in 2022. And therefore, Namakwa, Honourable Premier, is honoured to have the SOPA twice in Calvinia as well, today in Persach. We will take the next SOPA to Petersville. Honourable members and guests, as the legislature, we are synonymous with taking the legislature to your doorstep. It is in line with our mandate, the only mandate of executing effective public participation. In promoting indigenous languages in our province, the Nama language specifically in this case, we are proud as the legislature of one of our own, Ria Rees. Ria recently attended the State of the Nation address as the Presidential Praise Singer, an initiative from the non-Cape Provincial Legislature. We are honored by your presence, honorable guests and honorable members, and most importantly, value the sound relations that exist amongst our respective governments. We are pleased with the magnitude of our audience who have converged here in Persach, eager to hear our Honorable Premier's address this morning. Without any delay, honorable members and guests, I officially welcome you all to one of the most prominent sessions of the legislature's calendar, and hereby again declare the session open. I just want to remind yourself, honorable members, and also to our guests, a humble request that we switch off our cell phones. We are in proceedings and we don't want to have any interruptions whilst we are busy with our proceedings. Honorable members, I will allow the media to take photos during the first 10 minutes of the Premier's State of the Province address. The broadcasters may remain in attendance without any interference within the proceedings of this House. Honorable members, I received communication from the Premier that the legislature of the province of the Northern Cape can be summoned to assemble in order to enable him to deliver his State of the Province address on this day, the 26th of February 2026, in terms of section 110, subsection 2 of the Constitution of the Republic of South Africa, also read with Rule 14 of the Standing Rules of the Northern Cape Provincial Legislature. No other business will be dealt with, and only the annual address in terms of Rule 14 will therefore be dealt with. Honorable members and all our guests, allow me then the opportunity to call upon the Honorable Premier to address this House. Thank you, Honorable Premier.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, Ms. Nurin Cluster. Let me take this opportunity to greet members of the Provincial Executive Council. We have amongst us the Minister of Minerals and Petroleum Resources, Mr. Gwede Samson Mantashe. It's for the first time for both the 6th and the 7th administration to have a minister during our State of the Province address. We are very grateful of your presence, and it's something that we don't take for granted, and continue to be such an incredible pathfinder. In my CV, I will mention that in the State of the Province address of 2026, there was a minister there, Gwede Samson Mantashe, which happened for the first time. But thank you very much for your presence. We know it's not easy to reach vast areas of the Northern Cape, like Namakwa. We also have our Deputy Minister, Child of the Province, for the Department of International Relations and Cooperations, Honorable Mr. Elvin Potes, and as well amongst us, we've got our former Premier, Ms. Sylvia Lucas. Thank you very much for your presence, ma. Ms. Sylvia Isaac, Lucas Isaac. Let's make it a double barrel surname. It's Lucas Isaac. Let me then greet the Chief Whip, Honorable Dr. Norman Shushu, the Chief Whip of the National Council of Provinces, Honorable Kenny Muimang, the Leader of the Opposition, Honorable Dr. Isaac Fritz, the Leader of the EFF, and Honorable Dr. Shadrach Klaule. I'm just very much disappointed to the delegation and the MPs of the EFF, because they promised me that this time around they will come here in their Gucci and Louis Vuitton suits. And they came in their normal red. Let me also greet the leader of the Patriotic Alliance, Honorable Ms. Sharifa Ferris, the leader of the Freedom Front Plus, Mr. Theodoras Joubert, members of the National Assembly and the National Council of Provinces. Let me greet the members of the Northern Cape Provincial Legislature, both on my left and the right-hand side. So this left has got a significant presence here. It's progressive left. I don't know why they put the opposition on the right. Let me also greet the chairperson of the Provincial House of Traditional Leaders, Hosi Pilunomi Toto, and all traditional leaders that are here. We are deeply thankful for your presence here, because we firmly believe that our traditional leaders have a significant role in our development agenda. Let me also greet the Mayor of Namakwa, Mr. Rodnik Kritzinga, who's seated here in front. Thank you very much for your warm welcome to this beautiful town. Let me greet the members of the Diplomatic Corps. We've got Ms. Tandaye from the Consulate of Zimbabwe. We also have Her Excellency Consul General of Angola, Elsa Caposo Vincenze. And we also have Ms. Siama Sakaria, the First Secretary of the Consul of Namibia. So today, the presence of our diplomatic corps, it's quite significant. We've got a representative from Namibia, Zimbabwe, and Angola, all three of them frontline states that contributed significantly to the liberation of South Africa. So my generation would tell you that we used to celebrate the liberation of the frontline states. South Africa celebrated the liberation of Angola in 1975. South Africa celebrated the liberation of Zimbabwe in 1980. South Africans celebrated the liberation of Namibia in 1990 because we knew with their liberation, our own liberation was intricately linked to theirs. We could not separate our liberation from their liberation. So our generation used to have a song those years, I don't really hear it now, which says SWAPO in Namibia, Frelimo in Mozambique, ANC in South Africa, Aluta Continuo. Maybe we are sitting with the younger generation. Judge President, let me greet you of the Northern Cape High Court Division, Judge Pule Tlaleti, and let me also greet heads of state security services, chairpersons of the South African Local Government Association of Northern Cape, Mr. Lula Mankumbi, and we've got quite a number of mayors and councillors that are in attendance, heads of state institutions supporting our constitutional democracy, they are also here, the Director General and heads of departments and government officials, and also I noted amongst us, we have the Provincial Secretary of the ANC, Comrade Deshinganga, and as well as leaders of other political parties. We've got leaders of the Alliance and Mass Democratic Movement formations, and leaders of organized labor and civil society. Distinguished guests, fellow citizens of the Northern Cape, ladies and gentlemen, Honorable Speaker, on behalf of the provincial government and the people of the Northern Cape, let me start by expressing our heartfelt thoughts and prayers to the families of loved ones that still remain trapped at the Ekapa combined shaft. The province is deeply affected by this tragedy, and we share the grief and pain it is causing. During this painful and uncertain period, the affected families must know that we stand with them in solidarity. Achtbare Speaker, vandaag wil ek graag my opregte waardering uitspreek vir die voorreg om hierdie provinsiale redes hier in Namakwaland te kan lewer. Dames en here, vandaag is ons by mekaar hier in die noordwestelike deel van die Noordkap. 'n streek met 'n diep geskiedkundige erfenis. Die Khoi en San gemeenskappe was die eerste bewoners van hierdie land. Die Kham San stam het ook duisende jare die land en die hemelruim bestudeer. Hulle het kennisstelsels ontwikkel om die aarde en die sterre te verstaan. Om die rede word die son deur sommiges as die eerste sterrekundiges beskou. Terwyl ons provinsie moderniseer, bly dit belangrik om die rol van ons tradisionele leiers te erken. As draaiers van die geskiedenis en kennis wat die brug vorm tussen antieke kennisstelsels en van die mees gevorderde tegnologies en sterrekundige projekte in die wêreld. Honorable Speaker, earlier this week, we reopened the Steenkop Community Clinic that was refurbished at an amount of 12.5 million. The clinic will provide primary health care to over 9,000 community members in Steenkop and surrounding areas. We call on the community to jealously guard this healthcare facility. Yesterday, Honorable Speaker, together with Vedanta Zinc International, we officially opened the J.F. Bubu van Wyk Oncology Center. The 22 million rand investment is set to bring specialist cancer treatment and care closer to the people of Namakwa. People of Namakwa had to endure 1,000 kilometers to Bloemfontein and Kimberley for cancer treatment. And that is about to come to an end, putting that burden on our cancer patients. We further agreed with Vedanta that we are going to further invest 60 million rand to convert that oncology center into an oncology hospital within the next 3 years. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to congratulate and welcome Honorable Mervyn Kloete to his first house sitting as a member of the Northern Cape Provincial Legislature. As a member of this august house, you represent the aspirations of the people of the Northern Cape. We trust that you will serve with greatest humility. Honorable Speaker, this year, we will celebrate 30 years of the adoption of the South African Constitution, which is regarded as the most progressive constitution in the world. In addition, we also mark 50 years since the June 16 Youth Uprising of 1976, a significant moment in which young people demonstrated remarkable courage in defiance of the brutal system of apartheid oppression. We will also commemorate the 70th anniversary of the 1956 Women March to the Union Building in Pretoria. This march, by a 20,000 strong crowd of South African women from different races and all walks of life, this was a clear display of bravery and courage. They confronted the apartheid government to fight for their freedom and the freedom of many generations after them. We support their determination and trust that their exemplary action will be emulated by the current and future generations. Today, we present this sopa in honor of the roaring young lions of 1976 and Imbokodo of 1956. Honorable Speaker, in 2009, when we started with the 6th administration, we presented before this august house our vision to build a modern, growing, and successful province. What we said in 2019, that the 6th administration won't be an unguided drift of everyone just doing little thing in his corner, but all of us, we are going to consolidate our efforts towards building a modern, growing, and successful province. When we articulated this vision, we agreed that such a province is one where the health profile of its residents are improved, where we care for the most vulnerable amongst us, and through that we affirm that their lives have dignity, value, and meaning. We said a modern, growing, and successful province, it's where we are at the cutting edge of the 4th Industrial Revolution and prioritize quality education. We said what this vision entails, it's a province where its youth have reasonable opportunities and are allowed to dream. We said this vision also entails a province where our people, especially women and children, can feel free to enjoy public spaces without fear of being molested or abused. And we finally said, in our vision, people who are differently abled are embraced with dignity and provided with equal opportunities. Since 2019, we have made considerable strides. We have been able to achieve the following milestones, which I'm going to present here, together with our stakeholders and as well as our social partners. In 2019, the gross domestic product of the Northern Cape was 119 billion. As I'm addressing you now, our GDP is standing at 166 billion. This has been an increase of almost 50 billion rand. The number of persons employed increased by 18,000 from Q3 of 2025 to Q4 of 2025. This means that the number of employed people increased from 319,000 in the third quarter of 2025 to 337,000 in the first quarter of 2025. What this means is that the growth in the GDP in the province translated into job opportunities for the people of the Northern Cape. The second quarter of 2020, we only had about 225,000 people in employment. And today, with the last quarter of 2025, we had 337,000 people in employment, more than 100,000 people that got employed over this period. The Northern Cape experienced the biggest decline in unemployment rate from 31.2% to 27% in Q4 of 2024. The province recorded a notable 4.1% reduction in official unemployment, the highest in the country. The proportion of the Northern Cape population of people who live in poverty has declined from 64.6% to 42.3%. And the Gini coefficient, which measures the income inequality in the province, was 0.658 in 2019, and now it's 0.6.8, which means we are making major strides in fighting income inequality. Over the past 5 years, Honorable Speaker, there have been improvements in the Human Development Index, what we normally call as the HDI. We are now one of the 6 provinces in the country with an HDI above 0.71. This reflects the strides we have made to improve the quality of life through public education, public health, and improving household income. We recorded a matric pass rate of 87.79%. This is the highest matric pass rate since the inception of the National Senior Certificate Examination in 2008. We are the most improved province in the country for 2 consecutive years. And currently, the gap between the Northern Cape and the #1 province, which is KwaZulu-Natal, is reduced to 2.8%. I hope that honorable members understand this significant trajectory. In 2020, we got 66% pass rate for grade 12. And province #1, which was Gauteng, got 89%. So the difference between the Northern Cape, which was #9, and province #1, which was Gauteng, was 23%. That's the distance between us and the #1 province. And over the past 5 years, in a sustainable way, we've been reducing this gap between us and #1 province. We reduced it from 23, and now it's 2.8%. And we are no longer number 9, we are number 6. And this year, you watch the space. We are going to stage a major upset with the class of 2026. Our story will be a story of the province that moved from number 9 to number 6, from number 6 to number 1. That will be our story. Because we have full confidence in the grade 12 cohort of 2026. There is nothing that will stop us this year to be the best grade 12, to deliver the best grade 12 results. And there's quite a number of things, Honorable Speaker, that have contributed to this massive improvement in the quality of public education in the province. In 2019, we had about 9,200 teachers, and now we have about 10,000 teachers in our system. And when all provinces, because of budgetary constraints and challenges, moved to retrench teachers, this province took a firm decision that not a single teacher will be retrenched in the Northern Cape, against a decision that we got from National that we must retrench 603 teachers. We took a decision, we are not going to retrench a single teacher, because retrenching those teachers would have had a direct impact on the quality of public education in the Northern Cape. Along this improvement in public health, in public education, the number of learners in our schools have increased. In 2019, we had 280,000 learners, both in primary and secondary school. And today, as I'm speaking to you, 350,000 learners are at schools, as I'm talking to you now. And from the 315,000, we are going to provide food to 270,000 of them. That's the kind of investment that we are making in public education. Honorable Speaker, a total of 87% of Northern Cape households use health care. Life expectancy for both males and females continues to increase. The life expectancy for males rose from 50 in 2001 to an anticipated 59.5 years by 2026. This is very much important, and it's something that is not taking into consideration. Just 5 years back, life expectancy for male in the Northern Cape was 51 years. And today, life expectancy is close to 60 years. Life expectancy for women 5 years back in the Northern Cape was 54.3 years. And today, it's 66 years. So all women who are here, we expect you to live up to 66 years. And that is all due to improvement in public health care. All of that is due to improvement in public health care and the kind of interventions that we make. But I need one of the researchers to research why is it that life expectancy of men is always lower than the life expectancy of women. One of the critical outcomes, Honorable Speaker, is the fact that in-facility infant mortality rate in the Northern Cape has decreased from 17.3% per 1,000 live births to 12.5. The maternal mortality rate has also decreased from 109 per 100,000 in 2019 and reduced to 90.4 per 100,000. This constitutes a major achievement towards this sustainable development goal. The HIV prevalent in the modern, growing, and successful province is down, is in a downward trend from 4% of the population to 2% of the population of the province. The province successfully managed to reach 1.1 million Close the Gap campaign target in September last year by successfully enrolling 19,667 people living with HIV into treatment. This surpassed our target of 17,720. And this marks a significant milestone. This campaign aims to bring 1.1 million people living with HIV in the whole country who know their status but not on treatment back into care. Honorable Speaker, compared to other provinces in this regard, we are ranked number 5. And we are ranked number 5 because of this outstanding performance of even going beyond the target that we received from national. Access to basic services have increased in the province. Houses with access to running water has increased to 95.1%. Electricity, 90.9%. Sanitation, 84.3%. And refuse removal, it's standing at 65.8%. In 2019, the province started with only 2 clean PFMA audit outcomes. Today, we are proud to report that out of the 13 auditees, the province has recorded 9 clean audits over this period, which is a testament to good governance and accountability. The Northern Cape accounted for just 3% of South Africa's total contact crimes, the lowest among all provinces. Honorable Speaker, according to Census 2022 report, 71.2 households. This stood at 25.9% in 2011. Through targeted and committed investment by our telecommunications company, this increased funding and investment in both social and economic infrastructure has seen an investment of approximately 30 billion in the last 5 years. I see that mic was deployed by the EFF. Yeah. Thank you very much.
True.
Yeah, there we go. And what is this? No, I'm sorry, I wanted to say the mic was deployed by the Freedom Front Plus, not the EFF. So, Honorable Speaker, over the past 5 years, that's what I was trying to put through, is that 30 billion rand in the Northern Cape was invested on public infrastructure, both economic and social infrastructure. I'm certain most of you, if you are not travelers in the Northern Cape, you've experienced the new schools, the new clinics, and the new roads that we managed to build as a result of the 30 billion rand investment in public infrastructure. For the current financial year, we invested over 205 million rand for small-scale farmer support through the Comprehensive Agricultural Support Program and the Ilima Litsima Fund. And these funds, over 75 million, is earmarked for infrastructure projects, which stands to benefit 435 smallholder farmers. For the new financial year, 226 million has been allocated to support small-scale farmers, with 100 million rand allocated to infrastructure development. This will further enable support to 550 smallholder farmers in the Northern Cape. During last year, Honorable Speaker, we transferred 14,893 hectares of land to women and youth, worth more than 44 million rand. We spent a further 33 million on post-settlement support. One of the things that we have realized and appreciate is the fact that making land available to smallholder farmers does not assist if we don't come up with a sustainable post-settlement support. Hence, we are going to spend about R1 billion supporting the smallholder farmers in our province. What is also important is, Honorable Speaker, as part and parcel of our vision of fighting corruption and crime, is the establishment of the Special Investigative Unit. We have, for the first time now, a fully functional SIU provincial office in the Northern Cape. We used to be served by Eastern Cape and Free State combined. But now, we've got our own office. That is the reason why you see heightened levels of activities by the SIU in the Northern Cape. So for those who are raiding the public coffer, be careful. Those of you who want to raid the public coffer, be careful. SIU is based here in the Northern Cape. And we can see there are activities which are taking place, and currently they are busy with lifestyle audit for more than 500 public servants, senior public servants in our province. Also, very much important achievement of our vision to ensure that there is sustainable rollout of road infrastructure in our province is the establishment of the Sanral office. We used to be served by Sanral Western Cape. Now we've got Sanral Northern Cape. We've got our own office here in the province that should assist us to improve the quality of roads in the Northern Cape. This is a major achievement for us. Ladies and gentlemen, when we highlight some of these achievements, it is not because we are blind to the current challenges that we face. It is an assertion that the work has long started and continues, and so does our collective commitment and drive. Honorable members, the province has adopted a mission-driven approach to governance, which does not only focus on compliance, but on outcomes that matter for most of our people. This approach allows us to focus our attention, resources, and technical support on high-impact priorities, public health, agriculture, and rural development projects. In support hereof, we have established integrated multidisciplinary teams drawn from across government. These teams bring together expertise in monitoring and evaluation, finance, human resources, infrastructure, ICT, policy and planning, legal services, and risk management. Their mandate is simple but firm: to support departments, unblock challenges, verify progress on the ground, and ensure accountability for agreed turnaround actions. In the Department of Health, this translated into 10 structured, 10-point turnaround action plan, supported by visits to public health facilities. These visits are practical interventions that focus on leadership stability, the condition of infrastructure, staffing, equipment, medicines, ICT systems, and the experience of care by patients. The gaps are identified. Remedial actions are agreed upon, monitored monthly. I can give the residents of the province an assurance that by the end of this year, we will see remarkable change and improvement in the quality of public health in the Northern Cape. Honorable Speaker, I have already concluded unannounced visits to the Mani Dipiko Hospital in Colesberg and the Professor ZK Hospital in Berkeley West. In the next 3 weeks, we will intensify this program not only to public health facilities, but to all our infrastructure projects. Similarly, in the Department of Agriculture, Environmental Affairs, Rural Development and Land Reform, targeted support is provided through structured oversight of the Comprehensive Agricultural Support Program. This is to ensure that resources invested in rural development translates into sustainable and food security for our communities. To sustain this turnaround, we have also developed an action plan for the department with tangible, implementable deliverables which will be monitored on a monthly basis. In human settlements, we have placed focused oversight on the 1 billion rand housing project. The strengthened coordination between planning, finance, and implementation will accelerate delivery. This will help to restore confidence in government's ability to meet housing needs for our people. Honorable Speaker, we have concluded an assessment of the 1 billion rand housing project, which will result in the activation of strategic interventions to mitigate challenges to accelerate the implementation of the project. Honorable Speaker, a major milestone thus far is the endorsement of the Northern Cape Infrastructure Master Plan 2040, a single, fiscal, realistic pipeline that guides planning, budgeting, and implementation across all government departments. This master plan will enable us to prioritize affordable, implementation-ready projects and marks a shift from fragmented spending to well-managed programs that deliver impact. We must ensure that all our infrastructure projects are delivered on specs, on time, and on budget. To achieve this, we must continue to strengthen the technical capacity, professionalize public administration, and improve coordination from the center of government. We will coordinate and consolidate the gains already made, deepen accountability, and ensure that the public service is agile, ethical, and responsive to the people of the North. Honorable Speaker, our trajectory is unfolding amid a certain global environment. Geopolitical tensions, shifting trade regimes, and policy uncertainty continue to shape value chains and commodity market. While global uncertainty remains a concern, improved bilateral trade positions the province to sustain export momentum, deepen value chain participation, strengthen its integration with Asian markets, recent strengthening of trade relations between South Africa and China, including the signing of a trade agreement that grants expanded duty-free access to selected South African exports, provides an important buffer. We closely monitor developments in the United States about the 30% reciprocal trade tariffs. Beyond trade tensions among major economies, our mining sector continues to anchor export earnings. Agriculture remains our largest employer, and the ever-growing green economy provides an avenue for job creation, diversification, and localization in our province. These are the three big contributing sectors to the GDP of the province. Mining is accounting for 19% of the GDP of the province. And if we can address all the structural constraints with regard to fully exploiting the potential in the mining sector, it can actually contribute about 50% of the GDP of the province. Our biggest problem now is the issue of energy tariffs, which are very high. Mining houses that wants to put up smelters in the province, they can't do it because it's not cost efficient due to energy tariffs. And another major structural constraint which I want to raise in the presence of the minister responsible for this portfolio is logistics. Miners are struggling in the province to evacuate their products, and particularly your manganese and iron ore. We need to increase our rail capacity to enable them to evacuate their products. So if we can address those two problems, Northern Cape will be better poised to grow its economy. Honorable Speaker, we project Northern Cape as the new growth front for our country, enabled by our resource profile, which includes minerals, energy, infrastructure, and agriculture. The resource and energy development investments provides our country with a new growth front beyond the current industrial triangle of Gauteng, KwaZulu-Natal, and the Western Cape. Our aim is to maintain our sectoral focus and build on this vision of projecting Northern Cape as the new growth front. This will require moving beyond sectoral focus into value-added activities, manufacturing, and new horizon opportunities that leverage our strengths. Key is to ensure global access through the Boho Bay Harbor and Special Economic Zone with value chain and logistic linkages to the Northern Cape Industrial Corridor. Along this corridor, we have well-placed special economic zones and industrial parks that connect to the broader SADC region. The SADC corridor will ultimately extend up to the Fallards irrigation scheme. The consolidation of all production factors, namely resources, energy, logistics, human capital, and basic infrastructure, will position us to create a globally competitive investment destination for our investors. Dames en heren, 'n groot deel van ons fokus om hierdie 60,000 volhoubare werksgeleenthede te genereer, sal wees deur middel van ons mikro- en kleinbesighede in groeiende ondernemings te omskep. Ons mense moet deelneem en voordeel trek uit hierdie ekonomiese groei. As the provincial government, we spent 8.4 billion on procurement in the previous and the current financial year. The largest share, which is 4.6 billion, went to black-owned enterprises. 1.6 billion went to women-owned enterprises. 950 million went to youth-owned enterprises. and 48.7 million to people living with disabilities. While this demonstrates steady progress, efforts to enhance the participation of women, youth, and people with disabilities in the economy needs to be strengthened. Through the Blended Finance Fund, a high-impact enterprise in Namakwa secured 12.8 million. This created 37 new jobs and sustained an additional 49 jobs. To date, 12 million has been transferred to the National Empowerment Fund to expand opportunities for Northern Cape entrepreneurs. I encourage you to grab this opportunity and submit your applications. Honorable Speaker, the Northern Cape's tourism sector have shown remarkable recovery post-COVID. Through our visitor tracking systems, we conducted economic impact assessment for key events. These include the Wilderklaver Festival, Yonda Arts Fairs, and the Diamonds and Durance Kimberley Big Hole Marathon. The findings indicate an economic impact of 247 million, which sustained 504 jobs in the province. Through the Kimberley Diamond Cup, we have delivered 12 nationwide, reached over 800 young people as participants, injected more than 800,000 into youth earnings and attracted 30 million viewers across the digital platform. We have completed 5 tourism infrastructure projects, inclusive of the Moffat Mission Station Master Plan, the designs for the Carnarvon Community Square, or Maibuye Precinct, and facilities in the Rechtersveld. To reignite economic growth in the broader Solplaatje municipality, we launched the Diamond and Durance 5 Iconic Events program. The portfolio includes the Diamond and Durance Jazz Festival, the Diamond and Durance Kimberley Big Hole Marathon, which following its successful inaugural edition, now offers the largest prize money on the national marathon circuit and is poised for growth, and the Diamond and Durance Kimberley Diamond Cup. Further expansion includes the Wilderklaver Absa Sports Festival and the Yonda Arts Fairs Carnival. Solplaatje will serve as the pilot area, and we will explore possibilities to replicate this model right across the province. Honorable Speaker, our largest employer in the Northern Cape is the agricultural sector, which contributes significantly to household security. And it only contributes 15.5% of households were involved in agricultural in 2024. Households' participation in the agricultural sector will be increased, with special emphasis on marginalized groups. The aftermath of the 2024 summer rainfall deficit, compounded below average early winter rainfalls in 2025, has led to rapid decline in vegetation conditions, particularly in the Namakwa district and parts of ZF Ngao. The drought, particularly here in Namakwa district and ZF Ngao, has been classified as a disaster affecting our province. This will enable availability of resources to assist the 2,500 affected farms. Through the implementation of Kanufatso ya Dikgomo, farmers in Jontaulo Gaetsewe, Namakwa, ZFM, and Francis Bar district were supported through the distribution of selected livestock. To strengthen farmer support and livestock improvement, additional livestock will be distributed during this year. A total of 13.5 million from the Ilima Litsima grant is allocated to support subsistence producers in the province as part of the food security initiative to fight hunger and poverty. An additional 6.7 million from Fitsatlala program is allocated for vulnerable households. In addition, upgrading of the Valharts Taung irrigation scheme is critical to sustain rural livelihoods and boosting agricultural production. Honorable Speaker, it is important to note that the Northern Cape recorded its first laboratory-confirmed case of foot and mouth disease on February 10, 2026. The affected farm was immediately placed under quarantine to limit the spread of the disease. The province secured 600 doses of the emergency vaccine delivered on February 11, 2026, enabling us to create a buffer around the infected property. In addition, we got 50,000 doses from the 1 million doses that arrived in the country during February. Honorable Speaker, the holistic energy sector is key competitive advantage and enabler to the Northern Cape Industrial Corridor and the South African just energy transition. Our province produces nearly 3 times as much renewable energy as it consumes. Furthermore, the province accounts for 60% of the country's renewable energy projects. We have also been allocated the largest share of the grid expansion under the current allocation, with 900 kilometers of the total of 1,400 kilometers. A major government investment is the Uppington Solar Park. This is an active partnership. Between the 3 spheres of government: National Department of Electricity and Energy, provincial government, and Davos-Kruger local municipality. This will enable local smelters and also large AI data centers. The Department of Economic Development and Tourism supports Davos-Kruger and Gasigonyana municipality to include renewable energy in their municipal energy supply strategy. Post these 2 municipalities, it will be rolled out to other municipalities in the province. Honorable Speaker, road infrastructure is critical economic enabler for the province. The projected budget spent for road upgrade is estimated at just over 302 million rand. A further amount of 292 million rand will be spent on road re-gravel. 150 million rand will be spent on road reconstruction. The collaboration between the Northern Cape Provincial Government and the South African Roads Agency yielded significant results. The Northern Cape Province consists of 26,500 kilometers of provincial road network. The process of transferring an additional 649 of key strategic economic roads to SANRAL is underway. In addition, the Minister of Transport, Ms. Barbara Creasy, has approved the transfer of 336 kilometers of road to SANRAL from the province. Honorable members, the expanded public works program, phase 5, is currently in its 2nd year of implementation. To date, the Northern Cape has created 38,800 work opportunities, representing 34% of the 5-year target of 111,995 work opportunities. The CWP, which is the Community Workers Program, currently provides 18,400 job opportunities for vulnerable groups, which include youth, women, and persons living with disabilities. Both programs are undergoing remodeling phase. The programs will focus primarily on youth, introduce maximum tenure for beneficiaries, enterprise development, and emphasize upskilling to enhance employability and sustainability. Honorable Speaker, our government is committed to ensure that most vulnerable are protected against extreme poverty. Consistent with a commitment to optimize social protection coverage, as of 31st December 2025, SASSA has dispersed 550,000 grants to the value of 603 million per month. This translates to approximately 7.2 billion per annum. This is a significant increase since 2009, where 482 beneficiaries received grant disbursement to the value of 4.9 billion rand. It doesn't matter, there are people who want to stigmatize social security. Just in 1 year, SASSA made cash transfers to the poorest of the poor in the Northern Cape to the value of 7 billion rand. Through old age grant, disability grant, child grant. 7 billion rand. That's what SASSA spends. The number of grant beneficiaries has also increased between 2009 and December 2025. This is a clear demonstration that as a government we are determined to eradicate poverty and ensure that no household is left without their basic needs being met. This social assistance support is provided to 34.4% of the population of the province, which has led to significant decrease in poverty. Honorable Speaker, the introduction of SRD, which is 370 rand per month, has also contributed to the priority of eradicating poverty. At the end of December 2025, we had about 307,000 beneficiaries who were paid SRD grant. This translated into a cash injection of 102 million rand each and every month. Notwithstanding the fact that there is increase in the number of employed, unemployment still has a direct impact on the demand for social assistance, particularly the child support grant and social relief distress grant. It will be our priority through collaborative efforts with various stakeholders to ensure that our graduates and those with artisanal skills are linked with economic opportunities or further training to ensure that they are able to contribute meaningfully to the province's economy. Honorable Speaker, the province, in partnership with Transnet, has made progress towards the realization of the Bogo Bay port and rail infrastructure. The project preparation funding has been successfully secured, whilst negotiations with the Rechtersveld Community Property Associations are ongoing. A market demand study has been completed and the strategic environmental assessment is nearing its completion. The Bogo Bay Port and Rail Infrastructure Minister is here in Namako. The realization of that project will change the economic landscape of the Northern Cape, of the country, and as well as the economic landscape of the Southern Hemisphere. That's the impact which that project will have. And we are very happy with the kind of support that we are currently enjoying from the Minister of Transport. We are now able to substantively engage with the Department of Transport to institute a dispensation to advance the port proclamation and construction. One of the issues that I want to raise is the leadership of the Rechtersveld Community Property Association. That's their land, it's not owned by the state. And the call which we can make as the provincial government to them is that they must make life easy for us to secure this massive investment of building the 10th port in the country, in the Rechtersveld. Honorable members, our work does not stop here. Progress on the 2024 designated Namakwa SEZ is at an advanced stage, with park infrastructure construction scheduled for the 2027-28 financial year, which will create an estimated 2,000 direct jobs. When we started with our application to have a special economic zone in the province, we were laughed at. Now our special economic zone is designated. And we are going to start with the process of construction of basic and bulk infrastructure at the economic zone. If, with the following budget speech for the province, the MEC for Finance will make substantive announcements on the kind of money that we are going to invest in our SEZ. We therefore welcome Vedanta Zinc International's 21 billion rand pledge towards the Namakwa SEZ. The Gamsberg Phase 1 project, valued at 16 billion, is complete. Phase 2 has begun and will create up to 2,500 jobs in construction and 1,000 permanent operational jobs. Phase 2 of this project enables the construction of the zinc smelter. The Namakwa district will be host to the Frontier Rare Earths investments, which will unlock 300 million rand investment in the first phase. The President will be coming to Namakwa soon in order to launch the third phase of the Gamsberg development. The JTG Multinodal Industrial Park prioritizes mine supplies, manganese, iron ore beneficiation, and manufacturing. A key milestone is the donation of 91 hectares of land by Kumba Iron Ore. Furthermore, the Uppington Industrial Park project has progressed well, with phase 1 completed and will proceed with applications for the subsequent phase. The Uppington node focuses primarily on renewable energy, agriculture, and logistics. Beyond their traditional sectors, the industrial parks will support airport companies, South Africa's aircraft maintenance, repair, overhaul, investments, renewable energy inputs, and circular economy opportunities. Honorable Speaker, we must balance our economic ambitions with our environmental responsibilities. In our province, sustainable development requires a balance rather than a trade-off between economic growth and environmental integrity. Environmental protection and conservation are non-negotiables in pursuit of economic expansion. Our province, particularly this district, are home to a unique national strategic asset, the Falpoets radioactive waste disposal facility, the only one of its kind on the African continent. A planned investment of 2.5 billion will be directed to this facility, reinforcing Falpoet's role as the national hub for nuclear waste management and supporting long-term nuclear security. We visited Falpoets and we met with the communities there, and the communities were very much concerned that not close to their houses, about 80 kilometers, there's a nuclear waste disposal site. But we guaranteed them of their safety. And there's a commitment of 2.5 billion rand investment to upgrade the capacity of Falpoets and to make it more safer. Honorable members, as a province, we continue to invest heavily in our apex priorities, which are education and health. This investment is characterized by universal access, systems improvements, governance reforms, and the introduction of technological innovations. Our investment in children's development is demonstrated through sustained systemic strengthening and measurable improvements in learner performance. The province has positioned early childhood development as the most decisive investment in the province's long-term education outcomes. With 394 registered early childhood development centers now formalized, a 90% completion rate achieved through the Bana Pile registration drive, and 357 centers approved under strengthened compliance standards. The province has significantly professionalized and stabilized the early learning landscape. Access to grade RR and grade R have reached 21,000 learners across 393 schools, representing 91% coverage of eligible children. While practitioner development is accelerated through 247 educators enrolled in NQF level 4 to 5 programs, and 25 completing B.Ed early childhood care and education qualifications. What this will ensure is that we don't have the old style crash system where our children go to crash, to sleep, play, and eat. Our children must get formal education at crash at an early age. So we are busy professionalizing early child development with a commitment that as of with the new financial year, we are going to build about 10 decent state-of-the-art early childhood development centers. Each and every year for the next 10 years. That's a commitment to build about 100 early childhood development center within the next 10 years. It's to build about 100. Honorable members, through the Transversal Premier's Bursary Fund, we continue to expand access to higher education and priority skills area. In 2025, we awarded 140 new bursaries and 142 continuing bursaries awards, strengthening opportunities in fields that are critical for the development of our province. Our focus remains firmly on science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, as these fields are essential for the future of our province. Targeted interventions such as Dane and the Weg, Access for Success, are already yielding outcomes. So yesterday at my guest house, I got my own State of the Province address. One of the cleaners there came to thank me because they just received an approval letter from the Premier's Bursary Fund for her child to go to UCT to study biomedicine. I don't know what biomedicine is. So I asked her, what is biomedicine? She said, ek weet ook nie Premier, maar sy gaan doen biomedicine. I also don't know. And she told me that one of their biggest struggles is to get student accommodation for the child. And now the child is staying at a guest house there. So she opened her phone to show me that for the week and a half that the child is there, they had to pay about 7,300 rand for the guest house accommodation. They are struggling to find student accommodation. So I asked her, you're a cleaner here. How do you afford so much money? She said, no, we took money from the social grant of my mom and my dad, from the social grant of the grannies of the child who's there at the university. To set ons geld saam to pay her the 7.3 thousand for the guest house. And how old is the child? The child is turning 19. Her major concern is that she's not, that the child support grant is going to stop. That is the story of South Africans. And that's the story of the kind of interventions which government makes in the lives of ordinary, poor masses of this country. The child social grant beneficiary who was receiving a child grant, she's at a university now. One of the best universities in the country, fully funded by government. The grandparents are getting social grant. There's food at home. The mom is but just a domestic worker. So that's what defines the trajectory of many households in this country. And we tend to look down on it. But it's up until we see the ultimate outcomes and the changes which that brings in communities that we appreciate it. Honorable members, government continues to invest heavily in health infrastructure to improve access, quality of care, and patient outcomes across the province. Cumulatively, we will spend 955 million rand on improving our public health care facilities in the province in the next financial year. That is close to R1 billion. The Galeshewe Day Hospital will be upgraded into 161-bed district hospital at the cost of 300 million. Phase 1 of the Takong Primary Health Care Facility was completed in April 2025 at a cost of 25 million rand. There's a whole host of projects that we are going to embark here, and the designs for Kuruman Regional Hospital will be completed before the end of this financial year. These investments reflect our continued commitment to modernize healthcare infrastructure, expand access, and ensure high-quality, patient-centered services across the Northern Cape. Honorable members, the province continues to invest in sports and recreation facilities to promote healthy lifestyles, community engagement, and inclusive participation. A total of 51 million from the MIG Sports Infrastructure Grant will be allocated to a number of projects right across the province. Honorable Speaker and members of this august House, the state of local government is worrisome, but we are determined to turn this around. Our immediate focus is on the areas that matter most to communities. These are water and sanitation, electricity, roads, waste management, and human settlement. To strengthen municipal performance and restore confidence in local government, the province has adopted a focused 10-point plan. This intervention is practical, time-bound, people-centered, and aimed at fighting the scourge of corruption. It prioritizes strengthening public participation, institutional stabilization, improved service delivery in hotspot wards, and a more responsive municipal communication strategy. Through this program, municipalities are required to intensify ward meetings, communities imbizos, and door-to-door engagement so that communities remain at the center of planning and accountability. At the same time, we will enforce disciplined financial management, improve billing system, strengthening bylaw enforcement, and closely monitor coalition municipalities to ensure governance, stability, and continuity of services. Most importantly, Honorable Speaker, this plan drives operational improvements in the areas that residents experience daily. Municipalities are expected to accelerate infrastructure maintenance and fill critical senior management positions with suitably qualified and experienced individuals. Collectively, Honorable Speaker, these measures are designed to close the gap between compliance and real service delivery outcomes. We give you our commitment that we will keep a close eye on our municipalities to ensure that they function with the urgency, discipline, and community focus required to deliver reliable services to our communities. Ladies and gentlemen, the province has demonstrated steady improvement in the management and expenditure of municipal infrastructure grant, which has generally translated into increased allocations through National Treasury stopping the reallocation process. Between 2019 and 2025, expenditure performance improved from 64% to 85%. Our municipal spending on infrastructure grant is amongst the best in the country, enabling the province to secure cumulative net additional funding of almost 100 million rand. Honorable Speaker, we are mindful of the water challenges in some of our municipalities. And as government, we are making concerted efforts to address water and sanitation infrastructure. Since 2016, there has been an investment of more than 4 billion rand in the province in relation to water and sanitation, which can be broken down into a period of over 3 years. The investment was primarily for the extension of water and sanitation services, refurbishment of infrastructure, resource development, and infrastructure upgrade. More than 95% of households in the Northern Cape, as I have already mentioned, have access to potable water and reliable sanitation, which is the highest in the country. For the current financial year, investment in water and sanitation is almost 1 billion rand, and expenditure is just over 600 million rand. So for this financial year, there's investment of 983 million rand to improve the water infrastructure in the Northern Cape. That is close to 1 billion rand. The current infrastructure investment in the province is also geared towards sustaining the reliability of water supply and extending essential services to all communities. We are clear in our resolve to work tirelessly to ensure that our municipalities fulfill their basic obligation. Honorable Speaker, the province recognizes the strong links between teenage pregnancy and gender-based violence. Both are rooted in unequal power relations, harm social norms, and limited access to protection for young women and girls. Addressing teenage pregnancy is a critical component of gender-based violence. In 2025, a multi-sectoral teenage pregnancy plan targeted hotspot districts with 835 learners' pregnancies recorded among school-going children. Quarterly reports indicated 1,628 cases provincial. These efforts aim to protect girl rights, reduce vulnerability, support continued support, education, and empower young women to pursue safer, healthier pathways. We can't accept it as a province that we sit with 1,628 pregnant children at school. This is not a problem of government. It can be a problem of government to have 1,628 girls in our school who are pregnant. It's a parenting problem. So we make a call to parents in the Northern Cape to look into this matter. Because when a girl child falls pregnant, she's likely to discontinue her education. So this is a parental problem. It starts at home. So ouers moet seker maak die uitslappery van kinders kom op einde. Ja, maar hoe aanvaar ons dit? Dat 'n kind wat by hoërskool is, slap uit. Kom vroeg in die oggend. And the youngest of this 1,628 is only 10 years old. Only 10 years old. That's an indictment on all of us. It's a serious challenge. A 10-year-old. Hy kan weet eintlik nie hoe om sy gesig skoon te was nie. Dan sit hy nou met swangerskap. En 'n kind ook. It's a parental problem. More than that, it's a societal problem. The Provincial Interministerial Committee, comprising of 4 main departments, is responsible for the effective management of this pandemic that we are sitting with. Before the end of the current financial year, The Interministerial Committee will convene a multi-sectoral symposium to develop concrete plans and responses in the light of fighting GBVF and teenage pregnancy. These plans will serve as the blueprint for the province-wide intervention on this disaster. Efforts to reduce these heinous crimes are starting to yield some positive outcomes. And our teenage pregnancy in the Northern Cape has got a different dimension compared to teenage pregnancies in other provinces. Here in other provinces, teenage pregnancy of young girls is by older men who are working in other provinces. Here in the Northern Cape, as a 15-jarige and a 15-jarige. Yes, it's children at school. They impregnate each other. Here in the Northern Cape, in the main, it's unlike what is happening in KwaZulu-Natal. A 50-year-old impregnating a 16 or a 15-year-old. Here in the province, in the main, a child that's pregnant at school, you ask who's the father. Ons bring sommer die pa van 'n klaskamer uit ook. Die pa en die ma is altyd in die klaskamer. Yes, that's the problem that we are having. It's unlike anywhere else in the country. Here, it's peers. Die mannetjies, hulle kan nie hulle se zip vashou nie. But it's also a parental problem as well. As schoolmannetjies, van schoolmeisies swanger maak. That's our problem. So we'll have to find a way to ensure that we address this major scourge. It's a serious indictment on all of us. Madam Speaker, in conclusion, I appreciate the contribution of opposition parties in creating a positive political environment in the province. Our politics are focused on improving the quality of life of the people of the Northern Cape rather than point scoring and empty rhetoric. Therefore, thanks to the opposition parties for their maturity, especially during tough times. Madam Speaker, I also want to thank the colleagues in the Provincial Executive Council for their continued and unwavering support. Also want to thank all members of the Provincial Legislature for a very proactive approach to improve the accountability ecosystem in the provincial government. Also in the same breath, I want to thank my team, the entire team in the Office of the Premier for their dedication and commitment to their work. But in all of this, I can't miss thanking my family for the love and support that I always receive. Honorable Speaker, we are fired up. We are also pumped up to successfully implement the mandate of this 7th administration. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Premier, for addressing the House and presenting the State of the Province address to this House. To all our guests, thank you, baie dankie. Ek het gesien dat die achtbare 2 ministers hiervoor het baie moeilik gevind om nie hande klap nie. En as daar hande agter geklap word, te kyk hulle om, moet ons saamklap of moet ons nie saamklap nie. Ek dink dit was ook moeilik, Honorable Premier, om so 'n mooi, goeie gehoor te kan kontrol. Julle het julle goed gedra. Dis wat ons in Namakwa-land doen. Vir al ons gaste wat van heinde en ver gekom het om hierdie geleentheid by te woon, wil ek baie dankie sê. As u vandag nog terug reis veilig. Maar ek wil u eintlik uitnooi om nog een aand te slaap. Dan geniet u en contribute tot die ekonomie van Springbok. Net so, ons vra nie baie na Namakwa nie, ons vra net R5. So as jy net R5 contribute, as ons almal hier elkeen R5 contribute, dan is die ekonomie totaal en al ge-uplift in Springbok. Let me also thank the Mayor of Namakwa Municipality, Councillor Rodney Kritzinger, for allowed us to bring the State of the Province address to one of your wards. Thank you for your assistance as the municipality in preparation for this beautiful event. Thank you very much, Councillor. Ons is nog steeds in session. Session is nog nie geclosed nie. En ek het in die begin gevra en aangekondig dat onze gasten nie mag aan die sessie nie. Maar ek sal julle vandag oorsien. Honorable members, we have come to the end of our session for today. Please be advised that the State of the Province address will be debated on the 3rd of March, and the reply by the Honorable Premier will then happen on the 4th of March at the Council Chamber, at the chamber in Kimberley. Ons vra dat al onze gasten, terwijl ons afsluit vir die dag, net so sit. Our request is also to our members of the legislature. When we are leaving this stage or the chamber, let us not run to the holding room. My belief is that there's still community members here that really wants to engage with you. Let us take 5 or 10 minutes to be with our people. Honorable members, this brought us then to the end of our proceedings for today, and therefore our sitting then stands to adjourn. Thank you very much.